We're in my client Tim's condo. It's right downtown. It's a great location for walking, beautiful markets, and it's just a beautiful unit in a beautiful building. Tim had a sofa, a bed, a few pieces that he didn't love, some drapery that the place came with that were really bossy, and he knew he wanted it to feel more comfortable, a place that he felt good about inviting friends home to. So we wanted to take the layout and make it really work for him because he's going to be living in the space on his own, and that's exactly what we did. This project was a major facelift opposed to a renovation. The kitchen was left as is, the floors were original, but then it was a lot of clever decorating and some things that really changed the entire feel of the place beyond just furniture and paint and decor. The color palette is light and bright, but with lots of hits of black and warm browns and wood tones. I often tend to a more natural palette, so that's the introduction of greens and blues. Nothing too bossy, nothing too eye-catching. Everything is just soothing and feels cohesive. The builder had planned the main living space as being a kitchen, living room, dining room. We opted for a generous sized living space because there's a breakfast bar, which is what he used mostly when dining casually. That allowed for a large sofa, additional accent seating, and one of the main things my client wanted was a fireplace. That can be a tricky thing, especially in a condo, because you're mostly looking at electric. So we chose a really good quality electric fireplace and then spent a lot of time and effort housing it. This chimney breast wall was built in to contain the fireplace and then also hang the television. The key here was to make it feel like it might have been an original element. In a mostly neutral palette, it's important to play up different textures, so that's woven, there's lots of linens, there's leathers. Even mixing up the coffee table, we chose an ottoman and a coffee table combination. Also, art and accessories were a really big part of the living space. There are beautiful pieces that will move on to his next space, but really sing in his current home. Just the combination of elements is a little less boring than, say, one simple piece that fills the whole entire space. The nook or den, when I got here, Tim was using it for his workspace and there was a very basic desk there. I knew we needed a place for dining, so this was the perfect place to do it. The key here is the banquette. Having space for 4 chairs to move around a table in a space this small just wasn't gonna work. We had a banquette made, which is this beautiful green leather that is just going to get better with age. It's this casual restaurant scale dining table. It might seem small for the average home, but most restaurants would definitely fit 4 people around that. But then still works if he'd like to pull his laptop out there and work from home versus the office, which is next to it. And it just functions well for him on his own, but then also when he's entertaining. The style of the doors I love. They're trendy, but they still feel timeless, and I really love the hit of black and just the way it really opens up the space. Originally, these doors were frosted glass, and although they let in some light, it's significantly more light through this clear glass. Tim works from home in this area, so there's a desk, a small bookshelf, full-size closet, and then a Murphy bed. The Murphy bed, in my opinion, looks great. It's tucked around the corner, so it's definitely not the first thing you see when you enter the space, and then it's just this secret little function. The primary bedroom, the most striking thing would have to be the wall covering. Tim was up for grass cloth from the beginning, which I'm a huge fan of, especially in a bedroom, because it just adds this immediate cozy quality. It's a Thibaut grass cloth in a warm gray. The bed was something Tim already had. We kept that and worked with it. It was quite neutral. It's a dark gray. I repeated that tone in the drapery. It's a men's suiting wool fabric with a subtle stripe. The drapery blends into the wallpaper nicely without having too much contrast and just adds this heavy, rich feeling to it. The side tables are walnut and they have a woven shelf, which I really love. And then I've used 2 different table lamps. One is more of a task light, and the other is this beautiful trumpet-shaped lamp that I really love the look of. And each offers a different quality of lights, so the pair of them, while they don't match, they work really well together. Tim uses the outdoor space in this unit a lot, so we covered the floor in a composite material, which is a very similar tone to the interior floor. We opted for some beautiful outdoor furniture from Design Within Reach, the same green tone that is carried throughout the home, and then just a very simple sofa and lots of plants, and it's just a really beautiful urban view and quite private considering how much is going on around here. The entranceway was a little trick I like to do often. Most condos don't have a lot of space for a console and a bench and a lot of storage. So this is actually a bedside table through EQ3, and the proportions of it were perfect for this spot. It's wall hung, so you can put it at any height. A little stool tucks underneath, and it's a great key drop. There's a spot to keep your sunglasses. It's everything you need in not a lot of space. The kitchen, again, wasn't a major renovation. We changed out the faucet, changed out the lighting. We changed out the backsplash, which was a bit more work. We put in a slab material that emulates a marble that pairs well with the solid white. Tim also really wanted a bar, and we added that at the end of the island. It's done in a gray color that really complements the darker tones of this two-tone kitchen, so it feels original to the layout. I love how this piece turned out. It's quite simple, but the function is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of painted brick. It disappears in some ways, but it also just adds a lot of texture and warmth and interest. Beyond that, it was just decorating some stools and some smaller accessories, but keeping it feeling like the rest of the home. To transform a condo space, I find drapery, custom or having ready-mades hemmed to fit, they really do elevate a space opposed to just say a functional roller blind. The roller blind might block light, but the drapery is what's going to really make it feel cozy and like a finished room. If you're going to invest in one piece of furniture, it should be your sofa. It's the piece you sit on every day and you want it to wear longer than a few years. Take it to your next space. In this case, Tim wanted a bench seat and it's a custom move, but it just makes it like a big twin-size bed and is the coziest thing ever. And then just reimagining the layout is another thing. If the dining room doesn't necessarily fit where the builder had intended, or you'd like a larger living room and you don't actually want a dining room, those small changes can really change the way the space works and how you live in it, really. Tim really loves how the space turned out, functionally and aesthetically. He was very involved with the selection of furniture. I think was a lot of fun for him, and we really saw things the same way from the get-go, so that always makes it a really pleasurable experience for everyone. I really love this space. It was one of my more favorite projects to work on. It is really full of favorite things, and it feels cozy and warm, and it really does encompass a lot of the style that I like to work within. I want it to feel contemporary and new, but also timeless and like it's going to look good in years to come, and it's neutral enough that it can always change and it can always evolve, and that I find is the cornerstone of a beautiful project.